How's it going, guys? Cameron here with Canadian Gamer coming at you with another video. Hope you're all enjoying your weekend. And we're continuing on with the $100 challenge videos. So this one here, talking about if you're on pricecharting.com and you only had $100 at your disposal, what games would you purchase? Again, depending on the system that you're looking at. Today we're going to tackle the NES. I was hesitant to make this video because after posting the last video, $100, what games would you purchase for the Super NES? I started to notice this type of video is becoming a sort of a hipster thing to do on YouTube. I saw somebody had posted $100, what games could you purchase for the Sega Genesis? And he had over 10,000 views. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to go down this rabbit hole. But we'll post this video and we'll go from there. If you guys like it, I'll continue it. But I don't want to start following trends on the channel, that's for sure. So today we're going to tackle the NES. I'm not going to lie. It's really hard once you start getting into these consoles because all of the games are really expensive. And it's a crapshoot. It's like, do you choose 10 mediocre games that all could fit under $100, or do you purchase a handful or 3 or 4 games that max out your $100 cap, right? So as you're going to see here, I don't have a lot of titles that I've chosen. Again, it's a bit of an eclectic selection of games, and probably a couple of these you guys may not have expected on my list. So we'll go from there, and at the end of the video, you guys can leave in the comments what you think about my selection and what you would choose as well. Again, going based on the prices here on pricecharting.com, they're to be taken with a grain of salt, right? Not to be taken too seriously. So the first game on the list, we've got Kirby's Adventure. It says here loose price $23.36. Now I actually think this is probably the best game on the Nintendo. It's visually, as far as the graphics are concerned, in my opinion, this was a late release for the NES. It came out in 1993, if I'm not mistaken. This was one game I didn't own when I had my NES. I have played this version. I think it's fantastic. And I told myself if I ever went down the NES rabbit hole ever again, this was non-negotiable. I would have to pick up this game. So we've got here Kirby's Adventure for $23.36. A fantastic game in the library. And then we've got here Maniac Mansion. This is a game I had for my NES. Loose price, $20.63. A pretty good port of an excellent PC game, a LucasArts game. So yeah, this is a fantastic point-and-click adventure game. And, if I was building an NES collection and I only had $100, this would be on the short list of games to have. Maniac Mansion for the NES, absolutely. Tetris. Yes, $8 loose. The price is right. In my humble opinion, I think this is the best version of Tetris ever released. I had this version, as many of you most likely did as well. Interesting enough, I don't actually own it for the Game Boy. I don't believe I do. Yes, I do. Now that I'm looking at my shelf, okay, yes, I do have it. But I still find the NES version to be the superior version. Just the way that it looks, the graphics, the colors that were chosen for the game. Obviously the NES has a limited color palette, and Nintendo did a really good job with this version. And then again, the music is just fantastic. Never gets old. If you were on a deserted island, this would be the game to have. Tetris for the NES. Price was right. Had to include it on the list. NES Open Golf. I played this a ton when I was a child with my father. We bought this game brand new. I still think this is one of, if not the greatest golf game of all time. I remember the courses like the back of my hand. It's an easy to pick up and play golf. Extremely underrated. This is just a fantastic sports game. They nailed it. They got it right. Again, if you've never played it, as far as golf games are concerned, this game runs laps around a lot of golf games that came out in the later years on the PlayStation 1, PS2, PS3. Nope, this one here is right at the top of the heap for me. NES Open. And absolutely, if I only had $100, again, this is a non-starter. This would be on the list. Absolutely, NES Open Golf holds a lot of sentimental value in my heart, and it has to be on the list. Now, the next one here, interesting enough, I did not know this was released on the NES, and that's King's Quest V. Now, this is $29.90 loose. This is an expensive game. I looked it up. It actually looks really cool on the NES. I didn't know that it got a physical release. I'll have to sideload this onto my NES Classic. So it is expensive. It does take up almost a third of my $100. But I think nowadays, you know, if I had to go out and buy a handful of games, I would want this on the list. I'm so curious as to how this plays on the NES. And I love adventure games. And this was done by Konami. This has all the ingredients of a game that I would want to have in my collection. So absolutely King's Quest V. And that left me with less than $5 in my pocket. And I was going to leave it there and walk away with the change in my pocket. But I found, doing a bit of research online, I found that there are actually quite a few NES games, as you can imagine, that are under $5. You know, Top Gun comes to mind. But I actually went with Bandai Golf Challenge Pebble Beach, which is $4.38. Don't know if I ever played that one back in the day. So taking that game leaves me with 10 cents. So I almost maxed out my $100, and I was able to get 6 games on the list. Again, not a lot of games, but what are you going to do? Are you going to take 12 mediocre games, or are you going to take 5 bangers and 1 golf game that could be hit or miss? That's up for you to decide. That's why you guys should leave in the comments below or post a response video letting us know which games you would choose for the NES if you only had $100 at your disposal and you were using pricecharting.com. So I hope you guys enjoyed this list of games. Let me know if you'd like me to tackle the Sega Genesis next. Anyways, that's going to do it for this short video. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.